the things here that I wonder for you when you watch this movie, obviously there's some it's extra moving to see these scenes with Mark and Carrie. And I just wonder for you guys, as you now kind of process, you put this out into the world and you're seeing other people reacting, what's that like for you to go back and watch? Maybe we can start with Mark and ask and jump into that.
I can't, I can't. She's so present, I don't know if I'm still in denial or because she should be here, and so I just sort of look down and I listen to it.
Yeah.
I said goodbye to her in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I didn't know that I was really saying goodbye. So it takes on a melancholy that the film doesn't deserve. You want the drama to be on the screen and not in real life. And, her timing was impeccable, except this time. And, she got an Emmy nomination. She's wonderful in the movie. She's meant to be much more prominent in the next one. So, then you have Billy. And there's so much of Carrie and Billy. More Debbie than Carrie, because I think Billy's much more grounded than Carrie. Mm-hmm. Carrie was a handful. But always fun. That's why, like on 7 and mostly on 8, because I come out to the studio to do whatever, wardrobe or stunt training or whatever, and if she was in, I'd make a beeline to her trailer, because it was impossible not to have fun in her presence.
If I can just mention one fun fact that I came upon in one of your many other comments recently about working on these movies, is it possible that you and she might have actually kissed during the making of the first one? Was there some Luke and Leia?
I had done a soap opera with the girl I was living with, and we acted on the audition like we didn't know each other. How do you do? And after the audition, they said, wow, you kids have a tremendous amount of rapport. And we said, well, we're just good actors. And then when we got the part, they delivered the scripts to the same apartment. They said, this is, 72? It's not cool. I'm sure they do incest stories all the time now. But at that time, they said, if they find out you've seen in public holding hands and stuff, we'll have to fire you. With Carrie and I, there was an instant attraction, but it's like, I don't want to make that same mistake. Because, the relationships are bound to go south at some point, and then you're committed to making more movies. So yeah, we made some, I'm sure alcohol was involved, but when we're talking about kissing techniques, as a pretext, and we discussed that next time. We were like necking like teenagers.
It's uncomfortable for me because it was the third week of our shoot, and I was just like, no, okay.
It's impossible to dislike. Impossible.
So, Ram and Rian, how did it come to be that there are now going to be there's a whole nother trilogy that you guys are going to be anchoring? How did that happen?
Well, we were coming just to the end of this, and we had just had such an amazing time working with Lucasfilm and with Disney and everyone. The whole process had been such a joy, and it was just, how do we keep this going on? How do we keep working together? That was basically how it started. And I was talking with Kathy, and I was like, if you're interested in it, the most interesting thing to me is a new story, a new trilogy, and kind of the canvas of one story told over 3 movies. And let's go new places, let's meet new people, let's tell a new Star Wars story and see what we can get. And she was really excited about it. So, that's what we're looking at.
Promise me there'll be no more Death Stars.
More Death Stars, I promise.
No more Skywalkers either.
Yeah, but we'll get you in the mocap suit and get you doing something.
I'm there.
I'll be in there.
Mark, what would 1977 or 1976, right before the first, let's say, 1976 era Mark Hamill say if somebody said to him, in 41 years, you'll still be returning to this guy, and people are going to be loving it more than ever. Could you have ever wrapped your head around that it would have this kind of a life? Well, yeah, right, Looper.
Oh yeah, Looper. That's how you got that idea. No, I just wanted to be in show business. I didn't even know if I wanted to be an actor. I thought, well, if I fail as an actor, you'd see these making of on Disney shows. You'd see the carpenters, the wardrobe, the cameraman. I said, I'm not a bad cook. I could cater the show. I don't have to be in the show. I just want to be near the show. And I didn't really expect to be remembered for anything. So it's all good, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to be upset about something that makes people so happy.
Oh, no, I mean, I didn't mean it in that way at all.
I know, but it's like you were in a band and now there's a revival tour. Let's get the band together, hit the road. By the way, this is very unsettling to see the empty seats. Because every night when you go to the theater, you ask,
what empty seats?
Right there and over there.
Are you really
I was counting them during Ron's answers. Because when you go to the theater every night, you say to the stage manager, how's the house? That's all I care about. So it's very unsettling. We bombed a new
You should see an average movie. Let's go to the audience for a few questions. Yes, please.
Yeah, I'm sure it was hard to decide what you're going to do in regard to Carrie's passing.
Yeah.
And as weird as it sounds, and I've been liking the friend as well, I don't have a closure for Princess Leia or for Carrie. Mm-hmm. And how did you come to be able to finish this film and then not have a closure for her? And do you have any thought about what the
just
there's
repeat.
a closure for people about it.
Sure.
She can't be in the next film unless.
I'll just condense for folks if they didn't hear the question. Just sort of essentially that, how did you decide how to, end things with Princess Leia?
Right, and the fact that there isn't closure in this film for her. And so after she passed over, it was over the kind of the holiday break, and we came back and I put up all her scenes and watched through them. And I had a talk with Kathy, and we talked about, God, what do we do? So our options were to manufacture something to try and finish her character in this movie, or to let her performance lie. And manufacturing something would have mean, first and foremost, manufacturing something. So I couldn't imagine a version of that would be emotionally satisfying in any real way. You know what I mean? It's where we're not going to make a CG version of her. We're not going to have her die off screen and have voiceover. When she gets blown into space, that was not engineered story-wise to be a satisfying conclusion to her character, and I don't think it would have been. I feel like that would have been very unsatisfying as well. Add on to that we have a beautiful performance from Carrie in this movie, and doing any of those things would involve losing the goodbye scene with her and Mark, losing the scene with her and Holdo, losing the last scene in the movie with her and Rey, her and Daisy, where one of the final things in the movie is her giving a message of hope. And I wanted Carrie Fisher to give us a message of hope. I feel like it's something that we all need. So I knew that meant that it was going to be hard for the next movie. It's going to be tough figuring out how to bring closure, but there was no option that didn't seem like it cheated us of a lot of stuff that I think we really, really deserve to have on that screen from Carrie in this movie. And so, and I know that, JJ and Chris Terrio are working right now on the next script. I know they're going to figure out a way to give us something, but it's just, it sucks, man. There's no good option for it. And for me, that my answer to it was, we have this beautiful performance and people deserve to have it.
My question is for Rian. I just wanted to ask you, you make so many bold decisions with the storytelling in this, take it in so many new directions. I'm wondering if you were ever concerned about, pissing off some fans. Not that I am.
repeat, but like when you make edgy, bold decisions like you did in this movie, how worried are you that you might also piss off people that are?
Can I just say though, a lot of times I would say to Ryan, we got to think about the fans, and he said, no, we got to think about the story, and we got to think about our movie, which
having grown up as a Star Wars fan for myself for my entire life, and having been on the other side of that curtain for the majority of my life, I know firsthand that how passionate Star Wars fans are. I know that every Star Wars fan has a list of stuff they want and don't want from all of these movies, and nothing's going to line up with that. But that's not to poo-poo that. And even hatred from the fans comes from a place of deeply caring about it and of passion. And so I'm never going to dismiss that. And obviously, you don't want people to not like the movie. But I also know that if we have, like Mark said, you got to think about your movie first and foremost. And I know that George Lucas, the one thing he never did was to make any decision in any of his movies based on some idea of making anyone but himself happy with the story. And I know that that's, if you second guess every creative decision that you have, that you're led to with some idea of, yes, but is this abstract notion of the fandom going to approve of this, then you're going to make a bad movie. And that's the one thing that nobody wants, I think. So, yeah, I had to, just kind of, I had to kind of tell the story that I believed in, and and then put it out there. That's all you can ever do with any film, I think.